This episode of Falmouth in Focus is brought to you by the following corporate underwriter.
John's Liquors, 729 Main Street, Falmouth, 508-548-2287.
On this edition of Falmouth in Focus, we sit down with Barnstable County Commissioner Mark Forrest to discuss key issues impacting Cape Cod. We also take part in Black History Month celebrations across Falmouth. Plus, we visit Falmouth High School for the annual No Guff Week Awards, celebrating kindness and respect in our schools. All this and much more right now on Falmouth in Focus. Hello and welcome to Falmouth in Focus, our bi-monthly roundup of local events and FCTV member engagement with the community. I'm Michael Kasparian.
And I'm Eileen Preston. Barnstable County Commissioner Mark Forrest has been at the forefront of key initiatives impacting Cape Cod, from securing vital bridge funding to expanding grant opportunities for local communities.
In this special segment, we bring you highlights from our in-depth conversation with Commissioner Forrest, where he discusses some of the most pressing issues facing the region.
Billionaire class, so to speak, and very little of it will come our way. And the reality is that many of the programs that are being cut are typically programs and services that are pretty much beneficial to low and moderate income people, the working class, the middle class. And so that's kind of the sort of, from a big picture point of view, what's going on. Now, here on Cape Cod, we've had some major initiatives, some major projects. One of the biggest ones is obviously the replacement of the bridges, Cape Cod Canal. When the new administration, began to take office, myself as a county commissioner, my fellow commissioners, we had a direct outreach to the governor's office to find out whether or not all the grant agreements for the funding, the $2.1 billion Sagamore Bridge replacement project, all that funding was in place. We've been told that as of today, the grant agreements have been signed. There was some delay in getting those signed, but the grant agreements have been signed. They're pretty confident that the funding has been secured. And so far, the Sagamore Bridge project is still moving along at the pace that it was moving along before, which is good, because Governor Healy and her team have done an outstanding job in moving that project along. The challenge has always been, once the funding was locked down for the Sagamore Bridge replacement, making sure that we had a handle on funding options and funding opportunities for the Bourne Bridge. The good thing is that with the Bourne Bridge, the funding programs that are in place to help get that project off the ground at the moment, those funding programs are still there.
There's state money, is that why?
Well, we're talking about the federal the federal program.
Okay.
The state is putting money on the table for the Bourne Bridge. So what I anticipate happening is later on this spring, after the president's budget comes out, we're going to see the state of Massachusetts apply for funds to implement and move forward with the new Bourne Bridge.
$2.5 billion, a little bit more expensive than the Sagamore.
Correct.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, we're a little bit concerned about the prospects given the changes in administration. So I think to some degree, the commissioners and others here in the Cape will be advocating that the administration at least use its own funds to advance the design work on that project, because there's just so much work that has to be done. There's no need to sort of pause any of that work. The administration has committed funds to do that project, so it's a question of whether or not we can sustain the momentum on it. And by the time we get further along in the design process for the Bourne project, there'll be a new administration in office and hopefully a continued recognition on the importance of funding for this. So I'm still confident that we're going to get both bridges done.
From infrastructure improvements to community grants, Commissioner Mark Forrest continues to play a crucial role in shaping the future of Cape Cod.
If you'd like to hear more from our discussion, be sure to catch the full interview on Government 101, airing now on FCTV. Stay tuned for more conversations with local leaders as we continue to explore the policies and projects that impact our community.
In just a moment, we'll stop by a local celebration of Black history. Stay with us.
Hello, I'm Janet Lauer.
And I'm Richard Johnson. We are with the League of Women Voters of Falmouth. For over 100 years, the League of Women Voters has been a nonpartisan, activist, grassroots organization advocating for voters who play a critical role in determining the path of our democracy. Our original mission still stands strong. We support the right of every American citizen to be registered to vote in all elections at the local, state, and national levels.
The League of Women Voters of Falmouth has a diverse membership, women and men of all ages and backgrounds. We support the work of a number of League committees, which both educate and advocate in different areas of local interest. The Voter Service Committee provides the community with local voting logistics, candidate information, and educational forums.
The Civics Committee provides support and resources for student-led civic projects. The Legislative Committee engages in advocacy directed towards legislation of interest to the community.
The Natural Resources Committee seeks to inform about the protection and beneficial management of our environment. The Observer Corps attends local policy-making bodies and reports on their activities to the League membership and to the public.
The League of Women Voters of Falmouth invites you to join us in our mission to inform our membership and our community and to celebrate our freedom of expression.
To get involved, visit my.lwvma.org. It's easy to find your local chapter. Thank you.
Welcome back. February is Black History Month, a time to honor and reflect on the contributions, struggles, and achievements of Black Americans throughout history.
Here in Falmouth, a series of events brought the community together to explore and celebrate this rich history. From an eye-opening discussion at Highfield Hall on the history of slavery on Cape Cod to the vibrant and inspiring Harambee celebration, we had the opportunity to hear from community members who shared their stories and perspectives. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from this year's event.
The Harambee is an event that the Black History Month organizing committee has been holding, and I'm not sure how long, at least since I've been in Woods Hole. And it's really a culmination of a month of celebrating Black history and Black lives. And I think it's a really great way to end that month because it is celebratory in nature, right? And so as Black History Month, year after year, sort of works through sort of various angles at which life in the United States for African Americans is both sort of uplifting and as well as a struggle that Harambee is itself a celebration of a coming together of all the whole community to really sort of embrace both Black History Month, but more importantly what it stands for broadly, which is the sort of place of African Americans and people of color in American society.
The Harambee is particularly special this year because it is likely the last one in this form, and it's been going on for over 40 years. I think the community of Falmouth will pick up the torch and we will continue, but it'll be driven by citizens and community groups, and I'm really hopeful that the work continues.
The other Falmouth person was the Ray family. It was a woman whose name was Alice B. Ray. And she was an interesting woman. In 1840, she got a group of women together and they petitioned Washington, D.C. was about to vote, whether they be free or slave. They could go either way. They could vote which way they wanted to become. So she petitioned them. There were 3 black women. She was one of them. Maybe we think she might be the main perpetrator of the action to get this thing going. But 3 black women, 70 white people, local women, signed this petition saying, let's make these people free.
This year we also had a Black History Trivia event at the Cape Verdean Club. And each year we have been able to celebrate African American history in the Woods Hole community and in the greater community. So it's just been wonderful to be part of this. And yeah, I think the community at large will pick up on the celebration.
Black History Month is not just about remembering the past, but also about recognizing the resilience, culture, and contributions of Black Americans today. Events like these help educate, inspire, and bring the community together in meaningful ways. Thank you to all the organizers, speakers, and participants who made this year's celebration so impactful.
It really was a great year, huh?
Yeah, it really was, yeah.
Rabbi Elias Lieberman led the Falmouth Jewish congregation for more than 3 decades until stepping down last year. And he stopped in recently for a candid conversation about the role of faith and learning in his life. He was a guest on Think About It, an FCTV member program hosted by Richard Doobie. What might surprise you is the nuanced way he describes his relationship to the idea of God. Here's a short clip from the show.
Your Rosh Hashanah sermon on September 13th of 2007. Part of it, you say, what has become clear to me over the decades is that I have never fully plumbed the depths of my own beliefs about God.
So 2007, I was ordained in 1984, so that's 23 years into my career as a rabbi.
Mm-hmm.
When day in, day out, week after week, I'm leading services with liturgy, which are just chock full of references to God and prayers addressed to a divine being. And I had come to an awareness by that point that, A, I had no clear memory of what I was taught about God when I was a child, even into my teenage years when I moved through religious education. I don't remember when I finally made the decision, and how old was I when I entered rabbinical school? I was 31. I don't remember in my 5 years of study in seminary all that much conversation about the nature of belief. In other words, how do you come to believe what Judaism asks you to believe?
Mm-hmm.
It was sort of an assumption that, oh, you're going to be a rabbi, you're going to be a Jewish educator, you must have some certain core beliefs. And it slowly dawned on me that I never really grappled with what I do believe and what I do not believe. Now, it so happened that around 2007, and I make reference to this in those sermons, a series of books were published by a number of well-known atheists, Christopher Hitchens,
Dawkins.
Richard Dawkins, right. And they got a lot of press, a lot of pushback, but they also opened a lot of eyes.
Further on in that particular sermon, you say, the High Holy Days liturgy, with its emphasis on a sovereign God of infinite awareness and supreme judgment, has become an irritant to my soul.
By that point in time, it was clear to me that I was doing something performative each time I stood up to lead a service.
As opposed to?
Being emotionally and spiritually engaged with those prayer statements.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
So it's one thing to praise God as the source of healing, and it's a different thing to assume that there is a God who hears my particular prayer that my dear friend with ALS is going to be miraculously healed.
Right.
All right? I never believed in that latter kind of God, which is why in one or both of those sermons, I prefer to use the word mystery with a capital M.
Okay.
In other words, I say that for me, God is the sum total of everything I do not understand and never will understand in my limited lifespan about the nature of the universe, about the nature of existence, all of it. But that's okay.
You can see the full episode of Think About It with Rabbi Lieberman on FCTV's cable and streaming platforms. Check fctv.org/watch to learn more.
Think About It is just one of an increasing number of programs produced in our Cafe FCTV studio. And the next program could be yours. Yeah, Cafe FCTV is incredibly easy to use. We can prepare you to host your own community conversation or podcast episode in about an hour. So come talk to us.
Yeah, as you know, Susan Zavala and I, once a week, we get on there and talk about This Week in Falmouth.
We love that show.
Yeah,
Keeps
it's kind
us
of fun.
really,
Keep it
updated
casual,
on the news.
right?
Yeah, you do keep it casual. I love it.
Hello, and thank you for being here. My name is Lynn Shad, and I'm a proud member of the Falmouth Climate Action Network, or as we like to call her, FalCan. We are Falmouth's local climate advocacy group, founded in 2019 by a group of residents deeply concerned about the challenges climate change poses to our coastal community. Our mission is to initiate and collaborate on community actions to address the climate emergency through education, sharing best practices, and advocating for impactful policies. We've hosted webinars, workshops, book discussions, climate film screenings, and climate conversations on FCTV. We also advocate for strategic action at the town level. In 2020, we supported the successful passage of the Climate Emergency Declaration at town meeting. In 2022, we secured a warrant at town meeting to hire a sustainability coordinator. The town filled that position in 2024 with Stephanie Madsen, who has already brought significant grant funding to Falmouth, enabling new measures to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. The climate crisis poses a direct threat to the economic engine of our town. Rising sea level, more frequent and intense storms, and eroding beaches are already impacting us. As a community so dependent on its coastline and natural beauty, we must act now to slow down these harmful effects and reduce emissions. According to the Cape Cod Commission's Climate Action Plan, approximately 95% of emissions on the Cape come from transportation and the built environment. Our homes, businesses, municipal buildings, cars, buses, and ferries. Thankfully, the technology to address these issues is already available. Renewable energy sources such as municipal and residential solar, electric and hybrid vehicles, residential heat pumps, induction stoves, and more. Our town has incorporated many of these goals in Falmouth's strategic plan. At FalCan, we are turning the Climate Emergency Declaration into a living, actionable framework for change. We support our town leaders to implement strategic measures for greater resiliency and sustainability. Each of us can be a good and thoughtful steward of Falmouth by reducing our emissions and creating a more sustainable future for our community. Join us, won't you? You can start by reaching out to us over email at falmouthcan@gmail.com. Thank you.
Each summer, the Falmouth Commodores welcome top collegiate baseball players from across the country to compete in the Cape Cod Baseball League.
But beyond the action on the field, a key part of the experience is the host family program, which provides players with a home away from home. Local families open their doors to these athletes, creating lasting bonds, and they're offering a unique perspective on Cape League baseball. Right. Let's take a closer look at the impact of this special program.
Sure. I mean, I think each one of the relationships is a little bit different. You know, they're all unique based on how long the player lived with us or just their personality in general. But on the whole, it's just they become an extension of our family. You know, we continue to stay in touch with them. My son in particular texts with them on a regular basis. They celebrate his successes of things posted on Instagram, and he does it the same for them, which I think is really cool. And, you know, I mean, we just continuously cheer for all of them and their success the same way we do our own son.
They're all good memories. You know, we've done whale watching and they've gone out golfing and fishing. But I think my favorite memory is when one 4th of July we had a player's family visiting, and he had a 12-year-old sister that was with the family, and we had a barbecue right after the baseball game, and when she was leaving, she just gave me a big hug, and she said, "This was the best 4th of July I've ever had."
Yeah, I think the thing that I was most surprised about is just how disciplined and dedicated they are to what they're doing. Most of them that have lived with us are on a pretty strict routine that they've been on all during the college season as well. And so, you know, most of them are getting up, going to the gym before they go to the field, playing ball all day. You know, they're coming pretty much home right after the game, getting sleep. You know, they look at their nutrition. It's just amazing how put together they are for college students, and they've just been a great influence on my son.
It's a rewarding experience. I'll love it. That it's everything that you would think it is and more. The type of players that we get are just elite. They're polite. They appreciate being on the Cape. They're so excited to be here and to be a part of this league. It's a big step for them. It's just a rewarding experience. I mean, I never thought that I would have the feelings that I have for these players. Well, there's flyers around town and at the chamber office, some in Falmouth, and you can go to the website at falmouthcommodores.com, and our email address is housing@falmouthcommodores.com, which is monitored daily.
I mean, what do you have to lose? They're here a limited amount of time, and you will be shocked at how much energy and fun they bring to your house. You actually end up missing them when they leave.
Keeps you young.
The host family program is more than just a place to stay. It's about building lifelong connections and becoming part of the extended Commodores family. A huge thank you to all the families who make this experience possible for the players each and every year. If you're interested in becoming a host, visit the Commodores website to learn more about how you can get involved.
You know, Eileen, I was talking to Bob Curtis last week, and he and his wife have hosted dozens of players over the years. And they've created this extended family. They go to their weddings, their children's baptisms, and keep in touch. It's pretty cool.
Fantastic connection. I love it. Great program.
Each year, Falmouth Public Schools come together to celebrate No Guff Week, a powerful initiative that promotes respect, kindness, and positive communication among students. What started as a local effort has grown into a meaningful tradition that encourages young people to stand up against negativity and foster a culture of support and inclusion.
We attended the No Guff Week celebration and award ceremony at Falmouth High School, where students and staff recognize those who exemplify those values. Let's take a look.
Listen, I want
No Guff Week is a reminder that small acts of kindness and respect can have a lasting impact on our schools and community. Congratulations to all the students and faculty who were recognized for their efforts in promoting a more positive and inclusive environment. Let's continue to carry the spirit of No Guff throughout the year.
And yeah, that's going to wrap up our show for the moment. I'm Eileen Preston.
And I'm Michael Kasparian. We leave you now with the sights and sounds of the recent performance by Naomi Westwater and her project Reclaiming Folk, celebrating people of color in folk music. Until next time, we'll see you around town.
I buy seeds in December and I pray to a God I don't know. Lord, I want to make it through the winter. Lord, I want to make it. Though it's dark outside, though I can't run and hide from my feelings, though I'm sick today of myself and my loneliness. You know I'm gonna make it. Well, I trust that by the summer I will see your face again. 'Cause I'm gonna make it through the winter.